I figured today, since it's so wet outside, I'd get some lead casting done. I've got wheel weights in the pot, covered, and they're just getting ready to be melted down. They're starting to melt. So basically leave these cook. And do that to keep as much of the heat in as I can. So while I'm waiting for that, I'll get my mold ready. What I'm casting today, 45-70 caliber, 405 grain round nose flat points. So the first thing I do before I cast any bullet is smoke the mold. That's quite simply done. Taking a lighter, running the flame through each cavity of the mold on either side. Damn lighter gets a little hot, but what are you going to do? And what this does is it stops the bullets from sticking to the mold. It's also a good thing to do while you're waiting for everything to come up to temperature. Now, that side's done. Nice and black it is in there. That's what you want. The same on the other side. One thing I will mention, and it's a bit about safety. Anybody that shoots or knows about this stuff knows lead is not the best thing for you. You should be wearing good gloves, you should have good protective clothing on, long sleeves, the whole 9 yards. I choose not to do that. I've done this enough where I'm confident that I know what I'm doing. Now, that being said, shit happens. So, basically do as I suggest, not as I do. So this mold is smoked. Let me just continue to let the lead come up to temperature. If you have, I'm using wheel weights for this example because they're a little harder. That way they're not going to cause as much leading in the barrel because this is a flat base bullet, no gas check. So we only want to drive these about 12 to 1500 feet per second maximum. Now, if you decide to just throw wheel weights in a pan like I did, you could end up with wheel weights, you could end up with clips, you could end up with stick-ons, which are generally pure lead, or you could end up with zinc and some other shit. If you get zinc in there melting, your lead looks like oatmeal. You got to scoop it all out and hope for the best. So keep a good eye on the lead pot. Make sure you have half an idea what's in there. The one thing I do not work without is a good set of gloves. You want to make sure that they can handle temperature, because some of this shit, as I said, is 650 degrees before she starts to melt. And you don't want that on your hands. I had some spill on my foot last year and I still got the marks to prove it, thanks to a 2nd degree burn. Not my favorite, best day ever. So now, I'm just stirring these around because as they melt down, you get the ones from on top into the liquid, they're going to melt even faster. Again, keep yourself well back. You don't want to have your face stuck over the pot because the shit coming off of it is not the most healthy stuff to breathe in. So they're cooking down at a pretty good temperature, pretty good pace, and they will melt quickly once some start to liquefy. While they're cooking, I normally put my mold into the pot to let it heat up as well, because you want everything to be up to temperature so that it works better for you. The other reason is, if you use a wax candle and treat some spots on the mold where it locks up and where the pins are, it'll make sure that the mold closes properly each time you use it, and you cast a lot better bullets that way. For this job today, I'm going to be water quenching the bullets as they come out of the lead. I'm going to drop them into a bucket that has some padding in the bottom and some water. What that's going to do is to make them harden faster, and it increases what's called the Brinell hardness of the bullet. That allows you to drive the bullets up to 1200, 1500 feet per second without any leading in your gun. Now, as I said, these particular bullets are 45-70 caliber, which I shoot out of an H&R single shot if I ever get around to reloading for it. So I'm just going to let the lead finish cooking here, and when it's done, I'll come back to you. Okay, so the lead is melted down. What I've got left is basically melted lead and a pot full of other shit. Now this is the junk you want to take off. And it's referred to as slag. And that's all clips and basically stuff that you don't want in your lead. You just spoon this crap out. And you'll notice, well, I noticed there are some wheel weights here that didn't melt because there's probably zinc or some other junk, and they melt at a higher temperature than lead, so you want to get them out so that they don't contaminate your melted wheel weights. So once you've scooped all this junk out, and again, I'll give you the standard warning, this shit's hot. You don't want to fool around. Okay. I've got the top layer of crud cleaned off. I'm getting the majority of the dirt out of it with just my regular cleaning. And what's happening is you're getting just the odds and ends, a little bit of leftover grunge and dirt. So, I've got some lead, I'm ready to start casting, but before I do that, I want to make sure the lead's clean, and to do that, I take a plain old little piece of candle wax, like so, and throw it in the lead pot. It's going to smoke, it's going to catch fire. Come on, catch fire. Again, I'm standing back from it. You don't want to breathe this shit in. It's not the best thing for you. We have fire. So let it burn off. Or don't. It doesn't really matter. It just depends if you want hair on your arms or not. And while it's doing that, you want to just scrape the bottom of the pot and the sides of the pot. And what will happen is the wax will stick to all of the other impurities left in the pot, like dirt and what have you. And it's one extra bit of cleaning you do. The process is called fluxing, because you're using candle wax as a flux to stick to the impurities and get that crap out of your lead pot. Now, this same process, if you were making ingots to use in like a bottom pour pot or something like that, at this point you would be ready to pour your ingots because you've already cleaned it once and fluxed it. It's good to go. Normally when I pour ingots, I just use an El Cheapo muffin pan that makes little mini muffins. Got it for next to nothing at Crappy Tire. And what I get with it are these little guys right here. Now they're a perfect size to throw into my small bottom pour pot, which is behind me, that I use to pour pistol bullets with. So that's what that's good for. But I'm not pouring ingots today until I cast some bullets. So, if I have lead left over after I finish casting bullets, I will pour ingots. So what I want to do, put the mold in the pot to let her heat up.